That was awesome, wasn't it? Welcome, everybody, to the very first broadcast of the Gaming Goat Network. I am Dwight, your host, and we wouldn't be a Gaming Goat Network, a network of goats, everybody, if we didn't have Eddie the Goat in the house. Eddie, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great, guys. This is my cat, Koala. I better introduce her before she gets upset.
That is fair. Yes, do not want to upset the P word.
There you go.
Right. We've also got William in the house. Will, what's up?
Not a lot. It's very hot.
Oh, yes, it is.
I have my homemade root beer. Everything's good.
How is the weather over there, over across the ocean?
Across the ocean? It's a secret. The actual weather is a secret.
Yeah.
I'm
convinced. I'm convinced it's like a sister weather from over here in Florida. And then Eddie, you're all the way up in Chi-Town, right?
I'm in Chicago.
That's right. We bring people together here at the Gaming Goat Network. That's what makes us a network of peer creators. So Eddie, you being the goat set up a list of things to talk about. So I want to pass it off to you because this is a monumental video here. This is the flagship video launching us into unknown territory. And you as our maiden captain, we follow you.
I don't know about a maiden. I might be maidenless soon. My wife doesn't get any airtime with me.
I felt tarnished.
Yeah, this is a pretty serious moment for the three of us at least, and the rest of TGG in publishing. As you may already know, everyone out there in the world, that I run a lot of the operations at Gaming Goat retail level. But working on the new publishing environment as we move into 2022, 2023 season, we're looking to expand not just our line of products, but we're looking to bring more designers into the fold, such as both of you. We've got a couple other people lined up. You know, names aren't written on paper yet, but you guys, I think you got some great projects out there. I can't wait to talk about Will's stuff. He's got a couple great games. One's coming soon. I'm going to have a copy in a week?
Less than a week.
I'm jealous. That game looks amazing.
I want to give it to everybody, but they're so fetching heavy. They're so heavy. They cost $100 each to ship. It's like $100.
Yeah,
$200 tab to get those two games.
I know the story, man. I know that story all too well. No, but I've seen that game, and it makes me very upset with myself because it looks like every game should look when it gets to market.
Thanks. Should we identify ourselves?
Yeah.
And people know who you are.
Hey, right, I'm the host here. I say what you. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. William, introduce yourself for the audience.
Oh, I meant you first, but sure. I'm William Daleabout, and I am, is, are, was, and will be. This is Incel Riot, the whole thing. This is it right here. Creators of Virtue Signal, the game, the most upsetting game ever put on Kickstarter, and oh, geez, if I can even lift this. Probably occupied something, which just came off the factory a couple of days ago.
That box looks gorgeous. That box looks
gorgeous.
This
is so fetching heavy. Like, imagine like a steel ingot this size. Just, it's solid wood.
So Will, the creator of games that piss off everybody.
I believe we have a reel to run from your first game, right?
Oh, you want to run that? Sure.
Oh, you want to see it?
It's 3 minutes. Let's
White supremacy. Neo-fascism, Nazi clowns, milk. Now more than ever it is important to remember the true meaning of social justice. Your life might just depend on it.
Virtue Signal is a card game that parodies left-wing social justice activism. Here's how it works. In Virtue Signal, everyone roleplays as a different social justice warrior archetype. The base deck has 8, and each character has his own personality and unique activist superpower. The object of the game then is to attract followers to your character's cause, whatever that is. Followers attach to the character cards similar to dominoes, and the first warrior to have 15 followers is the winner. Pretty simple. Social justice activism is a contact sport though, and things are going to get rough. While you're trying to build your coalition up, all the other players are trying to stop you or even tear it down. The most common way is by accusing you of microaggressions. A microaggression is a bizarre accusation against your liberal person. Investigations into your past, slips of the tongue, problematic hand gestures, or more than likely something that makes no bloody sense at all. When a microaggression is played against you, it besmirches your progressive reputation and makes it harder for your coalition to grow. Enough accusations and your growth can be stopped entirely. Just as in real life, or unreal life if you prefer, your wounded liberal reputation can be fixed through virtue signaling. A virtue signal is an empty ritual of progressive piety that makes you seem like a really good person, and which probably doesn't help anyone or accomplish anything at all. The right kind of virtue signal removes the microaggression and lets you grow again. For example, if someone accuses you of cultural appropriation, you can signal your way out of clown jail by wearing the keffiyeh you bought in Palestine and wishing death by fire on the great Satan. Makes sense, right? Of course not, and that's the whole point. But wait, I can hear you thinking, how can you simulate what it's like to be a social justice activist when the rules of social justice activism are changing constantly? This game sucks, reported for hate speech. Well, it just so happens that we already thought of that, smartass, which brings us to plots. Plots are global modifiers that change the rules of the game. Some favor particular groups, some favor certain players, some bring the game to a halt, and others bring down fiery Armageddon. And then there's also one that returns the game state to normal, if that's what you're into. Be gone, plot! There are also a variety of special cards with unique effects, such as stealing followers from someone's coalition, or forcing them to get a job, or triggering them so badly that they run away from the game crying. These are just examples. Some are even worse. Of course, all these emotional scars can be avoided if you remember to play your safe space card, and crayons, and a juice box, you big baby. And that's pretty much it. The game is strategic and competitive, and by the end, you and your friends will certainly be traumatized for the rest of your pointless lives.
This.
Somebody's trying to
Hell of a
cancel
movie.
on arrival. That's amazing. That's amazing.
There's some really quality moments in that. I have had the luck to have some copies of your game, and I've played it. I've enjoyed the hell out of it. I want to say twice. You know, unfortunately,
you enjoyed it twice. Or you played it twice.
What is it?
You enjoyed it twice, or you played it twice?
Well, I'd like to say that I drink a lot when I game, so I don't really remember as much.
Okay.
So I think we got about 3/4 of the way through a complete game the last time before a party of people that were just like losing their minds already had to put it away. But that's like, you know, most of my gaming, unfortunately. But that's what playtesting is.
Yeah, it sounds like a game that did its job.
Yeah, it did. I lasted a full 45 minutes on Board Game Geeks.
How long did it take you to like design that game concept to?
Well, it was knocking around in my head for about 10 years, and I finally decided to just. Well, when I lost my representation, I kind of like thrown out of my career and said, "Well, might as well go for it." I just like 2019, about 2 years actual development, lots of illustration.
Well, I am Dwight Cenac with High Noon. My game is. Right here. I don't have a box, but I hung it on my walls for you all.
You don't have a box?
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I've got
a game.
Yeah, you know, it can't have a game without a box. But I didn't bring one for the show because it had this really sexy picture right there. For those of you who do not know High Noon, well, I just got to say that
High Noon around these parts is bloody and unforgiving. On this untamed frontier, if you try to save your bacon, you're gonna go home hungry. To win the game, become acquainted with punishment, both in given and getting. High Noon is a tactical combat board game set in a fictional turn-of-the-century Wild West universe, where players vie for dominance using various posses of unique characters with deadly variety. Assorted game tiles can be assembled quickly and easily to ensure no theater of war is ever the same. With your battlefield tiles confederated, it's time to take the reins of your posse. Draw from your deck to equip your posse with their unique skills they'll need to get ahead. There are no dice in High Noon. When it comes to victory or defeat, it's all in the cards. Don't forget to loot wherever and whenever you can. Gathering loot from crates around the battlefield will give you a razor-sharp edge. And most importantly, enjoy the spoils of your victory. Pick your posse and be ready for the fight. You might just make it out alive.
I want to know how you got Sam Elliott to do your voiceover.
What's that?
I want to know how you got Sam Elliott to do your voiceover.
Well, if you haven't noticed, he hasn't been in a lot of movies lately. So he's been
Oh, so
making a nice handsome coin on Fiverr.
makes sense. Makes sense. Yep.
So
He has made a lot of stuff.
that's my story. Now, Eddie
Yep.
the Goat, I think you've got a game somewhere, right?
Hey, we sent a message to those Mancinas, boss. I sent 6 of their best to sleep with their fishes. And those crates over there, it's almost their whole stash from Maricelli's. Call your stool pigeon friend. Tell him to red, just before our Hell's Kitchen shipment arrives next Sunday. I'll call it off at the last minute, and the DA can throw them worthless Mancinas in the big house. Yeah, sure thing, boss. So, Lefty, eh? Oh, you'll be the copy the capo of all New York, and we'll be rolling in booze, clams, and dames.
Mob Big Apple is an exciting, competitive game for 2 that plays in under an hour by means of area control, clever dice allocation, and worker placement. You'll attempt to outsmart, outmaneuver, and outgun your rival to victory. Mob Big Apple. Back us now on Kickstarter.
Oh, very cool. I didn't see it.
That
Oh goodness, are we back?
Yes.
No, I have one
Amazing
more.
Bloody Mary made its way.
Ads are over. No more
Good.
ads.
Hey, you see, that's why I play the videos, ladies and gentlemen, so you can get your Bloody Marys in. You're welcome.
I had to pick up some of that
God.
contraband. No, I that is
Amazing.
a TG game, that's for sure. I can't pretend to make it. That was Steve Finn. He's an amazing designer. Has a lot of games out there. A lot of people enjoy. But yeah, we've done a lot of licensing work, bringing games to the States from out of country, and also we have some in-house design going on. You guys, of course, we're going to be talking about tournament fishing at some point because that's going to be a focal point for a lot of our conversations for maybe some years to come. But yeah, that's going to be coming to the States real soon. It's actually on a boat to be delivered. I do carry both of your games, of course. Waiting for Will's to show up so I can get more of those. Was that POZ?
But that's really what TG's all about, though, is supporting creators and getting games out there onto the shelves of stores. And
We definitely try to buy it all and sell it all.
You guys have made a lot of games possible for a lot of creative types, and I think the industry owes a debt of gratitude. But they're a little bit more interested in doing other things, which, as you said, we'll talk about. But
Yeah.
I regret not backing that game. That game actually looks really fun. I thought it was I didn't realize it was a 2-player game.
Yeah, it's really fast paced. It's actually really enjoyable.
Looks amazing. And then you guys, and then you got SOS Titanic. It's here, right?
Yeah.
I don't
we
have
just got that one in, so that's just at market.
So yeah, so that's us. That is basically who you guys are looking at in a nutshell. We are game creators, game publishers. Our interest, our unified interest here, because we're from all walks of life, all different beliefs, but we are here to coexist to create fun games and get them out there. And we thought, hey, why don't we make a show about it? Because people don't really realize what goes into this, like making games and getting them into the industry and running and being successful in this this space.
Too many cats. Yeah, so there's a lot to work with getting the game to market from A to Z, obviously from design studio out to the retail floor. Now, of course, we'll end up talking about Kickstarter, crowdsourcing, GameFound. There's a third one coming up. Backer Kid, I believe, is making their own. So we're going to talk about industry on this show. We're going to talk about, what it takes to make a game, what games we are making, some industry news, hopefully with a lot more of a lighthearted approach than a lot of our peers do.
That's this is the obligatory explanation of who we are, what the show is going to be about, what you can expect from other episodes, and moving forward. And if you guys want to be a part of it, if you want to join into this kind of conversation, you want to get involved, if you're a creator and you want to learn the ropes, or you want to network, this is the show for you. If you're somebody who is just has an affinity for board games and you're interested in, like, oh, how does that happen? How does that work? How are these things made? This is the show for you. If you are an SJW that identifies with one of the people in the game that Will has created over here, still the show for you, man. We're still happy to have
Still
you.
the show for you.
We're a show for everybody.
I'm here to laugh at myself, and I hope our viewers are too.
That's what we're all about. See, and if we're laughing at ourselves, then that means you can laugh at us at the same time. We are here to take everybody's money. We don't discriminate. And having said that, one way for us to take your money is in the celebration. It is a 1-year anniversary, a very special day, a day that will live in infamy. Froggate. What a lovely picture there. Froggate.
Well, I gotta thank you for that wonderful art.
Froggate, the day commemorating, or the anniversary commemorating the day that let me get rid of that. To go away, goodness gracious. That the tabletop role-playing game community at large condemned the Gaming Goat for this disgusting use of a anatomically correct frog that was literally
Anatomically correct
from an actual frog.
Yes.
Yeah, so this was offensive to some people, and a big to-do was made out of it. And so we're making a bigger to-do out of it with this this amazing, where are you? Go away. This amazing logoed shirt, Froggate. Get yours today at tgg-merch.myspreadshop.com. Yeah, right over there, Will.
Oh, we lost Will.
Happened.
Will, go fix yourself, Will. All right,
I think the
so
communists got him.
they got the commies
He's
got
off
him.
the gulag.
The commies got him. Yeah, so you can get your shirts here now. Eddie, what is all this? What is this? What is this? What is this? What is I don't even know what this cup is, and I want it.
I mean, it's a cup, man. You drink coffee?
Dude,
I drink, a little bit of booze in mine, but we got some definitely some nice what do you got? Premium t-shirts in there.
That's right.
I need to point out that these are the premium t-shirts. We didn't cheap out. We told them we're not doing any of this cheap stuff, all right? Those are the good ones.
They got them for
we're gonna wear the frog, wear it proudly.
That's right. I'm
complete. We need toe, or what is it? Toe to fin. What do frogs have?
I don't know. I'm not a
You don't make the full circle, you're not doing it right.
It's right. Yeah, exactly. Hey, are we back, Will? Are we back?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just had to turn my camera off and on again.
Excellent. You unplugged the camera and plugged it back on.
I turned it off and on again.
Yeah, so we're not spending too much time on that, but if you guys want to check out those amazing Froggate shirts and celebrate with us a day that really, I think, really got TGG into the common parlance. I think it was like they tried to get rid of you, but it was like a Streisand effect. It got more people paying attention, and now they can't stop us. You can't stop the signal, Mal. So links in the description for this merch to celebrate with us. We'll put a link in the description.
Well, here's my plan on those t-shirts. You see, we got white and black options, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to, dip us in the pond a little more and do a wet t-shirt contest. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a lot of nice ladies out there, well-endowed ladies, to grab some of these shirts, get on a, call with us. We can do something big. We can do it in person. We can do it on video. Let's do a Zoom meet or something and do a big Froggate, dip the frog.
Why not?
Let's see your lily pads, ladies. I'll tell you. All right, wet t-shirt contest for the hot babes. We are never getting invited back to Gamma.
That's the plan, guys.
That's the plan. All right, so Froggate celebrations. We have some updates about our games and such. High Noon. I'll start with me because I'm a craver of the camera. If we have a new update for a new release for those of you who've been following along with High Noon, you've been grabbing your expansions. I was never a fan of the original tile art, so as you guys might know, I updated the artwork of the expansion tiles, but that meant that they did not match the starter set tiles. So what I did was I created an upgrade for the starter set tiles, which is now available in the High Noon store. So you can get these beautiful tiles to upgrade your game. You can upgrade the starter set and just keep it there, or you can continue these on into the expansions. It's $20 for a pre-order. Get them while they're there because the price will go up when they hit retail. That is highnoongame.com. highnoongame.com, everybody. Will, what do you got for us, buddy?
Coming up, I've been working on the same project for like the past 2 years. POZ finally came out of the factory. It's on the water, and as soon as Eddie gets his copy, I think we're going to try to do some reviews and then maybe actually send it over to Kickstarter because we didn't make very many the first time.
Did you actually do a Kickstarter with POZ?
I did Indiegogo.
I see it.
I took some very bad advice, and I released way earlier than I wanted to. I didn't even have a prototype. So what I got to make the game was I didn't have there were no miniatures, there was no board, there was nothing. It was just some artwork and some 3D printed minis, and that's it. And based on that, like I got. So I guess it's a win in and of itself. But now I have everything, and everything looks great. And I think I can put it on Kickstarter and do much better.
This was the Indiegogo listing for POZ, I believe.
Oh no! Don't show it to him. It's embarrassing.
Why not? It is. Why? What? It's got some close-ups of your minis. The minis look beautiful. Look at these miniatures.
Those are the 3D printed ones. They look okay.
I love the sculpts. The sculpts are gorgeous.
Thank you.
That's actually why I want the game.
Everybody wants Kyle. Everybody just wants Kyle.
Artwork is fun. Is that Kyle?
On the right, yeah, that's Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh my gosh! Oh,
he's a game element.
Is his mom driving to Portland?
Yeah.
Well,
he crossed state lines. He crossed state lines.
It says that in the manual.
Does it?
Yes, he crossed state lines to render aid. So,
all right, you guys can look this up on. You can look this allegedly embarrassing Indiegogo page up on Google. That is that. Eddie, you got something for it?
Yeah, I mean, you guys are starting your own little studios a little while back. You know, High Noon's kicking for a while now. Virtue Signal. How long ago did Virtue Signal come out? Well,
2019.
2019. Okay, you got a few years under your belt. You got your new one coming up. As part of this new TGG network of designers, I am going to finally kick off an idea I've had for a while. You might be able to queue up a nice new logo for me there that William designed for me here for what we're going to be calling Evil Intellect Studios. Now, this is going to be just another subversive branch of our little trade network here. Where I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff that's, occult styling, maybe some satanic art. We're going to have some local artists, tattoo artists even doing some of my work. We're looking right now at doing a series of games. Now, this is the very first time I'm going to talk about this. We're going to be doing a reskin selection of famous children's games in occult settings.
Yes. What was the name of Sorry?
So is there
Sorrow.
Like
we're doing Sorrow.
Sorrow, that's right.
Sorrow?
Yeah.
Instead of Sorry?
Candyland too. Like
I was gonna say, what's for Shoots and Ladders in Candyland? Are you doing those?
So Dante Land is in the works. All right, we're doing the 7 sins. We're doing the 7 layers. I got a bunch of stuff worked up for that. Concept work. We've got Shoots and Ladders is happening. I haven't coming up with anything worse or anything better than shits and leaders, but that's as close as I've got, man.
Don't do puns. Don't do puns. If it's kids, like it should be like a. No, I can't say that.
You can say whatever you want.
It's going on YouTube.
It's all right. We're not monetized.
Right.
No, but little kids sliding down into Uncle Touchy's naked puzzle basement. I say it that way.
This isn't your.
At the very bottom, like you win, but also you lose.
We're not talking about Epstein Island yet.
Epstein. Oh my God!
No, you can have that.
So are these I've been seeing these pictures that you've been sharing, Will, of the circle puzzle board. Is this a concept that you're coming up with? for FNet?
It's for Escape from Epstein Island, which is our next project. It is very much up in the air. We haven't even decided what the core game mechanic would be. But
I like that. I like that.
concepts-
I do like the
Yeah.
idea, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in another show, I'm sure. But what I saw was basically puzzle pieces that you're putting together to create the circle board, which, if I
Yes.
understand it correctly, is your way of making sure that the board pieces like stay together and don't like float around the table.
Yeah, well, a lot of people do that. Gloomhaven does that. That's not the board, though. That would be your character card.
Oh,
I don't like meaningless points, like just count 1 through. Like I like them all to mean something. So instead of hit points or health points, each one of these things is a health point, and they all mean something.
gotcha. Okay, interesting. Well, that I look forward to hearing about that. So, as far as Evil Intellect, you heard it here first, folks. A reskin of all of your favorite children's games that you love to play with your kids. Everybody loves Candyland, and now, my God,
Damned land. For the damned, the land of the damned, damned land. Perfect. Wow, you can have that.
It's gonna be the series of the damned.
Ladies and gentlemen, it appears that the commies are coming after William once again. So, final thoughts before we go. Eddie, start with you.
Yeah.
bud.
No,
Let's see. We've covered Froggate. We've covered our nice peer group. We've covered nowhere near enough. Honestly, we got a lot more going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, we didn't do much. I think we can do more.
I would agree.
Get him out of here.
You know, we're gonna be bringing in some guests, right,
Shit.
in different shows in the future.
I'm kidding, Will. I'm kidding. Welcome back.
You just drop them.
You're the commie who is coming for me.
They're on to me.
You North Floridians. I knew about you guys. All those Cubans. up
It's
in there.
true. It's true. Yeah.
You know,
that's how-
Jacksonville didn't smell as bad as I was told when I got there.
Folgers doesn't work nearly as often anymore as it used to. So yeah, we did away with that. Well, yeah. I mean, guys. I mean, we can talk about whatever you want.
Yeah.
Well,
we-
I don't
Not wrong
know.
spot, right?
Like the Froggate drama. I think we should talk about that more. People will be interested in that.
Will totally wants to talk. Will so bad.
It really does.
wants to
Not
talk.
You weren't even there.
Controversy brings
You
people
weren't even-
in.
We were born in it.
I was born in
I knew about Froggate when I was a child.
Feel in charge.
Well, Will,
It's about-
if you're gonna demand that we talk about it, you have to at least get your camera to work. Like you got to
Yeah.
at least.
My camera's on. Can you not see me? I see me.
I see. This is your
I
truth.
see
I'll have what I'm having.
me. Yeah.
Listen, if you guys want me to talk about
You're
Froggate, I
trying to get me
definitely
out.
can.
It's working.
Will,
Totally see myself.
Will,
Yeah.
Will,
Yeah.
Will,
What?
turn your computer off and turn it back on. And we'll talk about Froggate while you're gone, okay?
Yeah. Somebody poured water down the back.
We'll talk about it. You'll miss it, but it's okay. You'll be back in time for us to say, well, that's all there was about Froggate. I'm gonna and Will rage quits. Yeah, look, we don't have to talk about it. It was dumb. I think that I do believe that it was probably one of the best things to happen in terms of marketing, in terms of free marketing.
Yeah, surely. I mean, we've gotten a lot of support from people, but the issue with that, of course, if we want to dig into the scene a little harder, is that the frog thing isn't the thing. The frog is the poster for the thing, right?
Right.
So you've got people who have, internalized issues going through a 2020 COVID era madness, cabin fever, and losing their fucking minds. We're on YouTube, right? Am I about to lose it?
You're fine.
All right. Well, the thing is you've got unhinged people making claims and suggestions to mobs that they know will react over minor things. We can go back to Will's game for the microaggressions, a component of his game, and you look at where people have gone in our society and in this industry, and they're looking for means of upset. So we find an accusation pinned on TGG because of an art of a frog. Okay, that's the crux of it. But now you get into the fact that it's about people rallying to a cause that has no real direction. And they're being upset at something. They found a way to be upset. They found a reason to be upset. And before this thing can be contained, controlled, responded to, it's already gone. It's already out of control. So you've got now unhinged people cracking an attempt at a company that is, ambitious and doing well in this industry. And it's comprised of people like myself, or, Jeff Berggren hasn't come up in this conversation yet. But of course, he was there at the forefront of this and doing what he and I would do in any similar situation, which is, make fun of it, even if it's making fun of ourselves. At one point, the biggest criticism was that Jeff made a picture of himself with his head on the fucking frog. Now, what are you supposed to do?
I remember that.
What are you supposed to do with that but laugh, right? Any reasonable person who's seeing this thing unfold, you're going to laugh. But, the people that make up a lot of our industry and even the demographics of our end users are not exactly normal, sane people. And I say that knowing how many people in board gaming and tabletop that I personally can say I love. But these are not the majority of the demographic, or at least a sizable portion of the demographic is insane people or low maturity, not well-adjusted people who are willing to grab onto this situation and ride for their lives the terror that they want to cause. Now, as you mentioned, this was, like you said, a boon for me, my company, in many regards. We did well after that. We continued to sell games, that's for sure, in our retail environments. And yeah, we had to refute certain claims. And when you get to that point, you end up sounding like you're defensive. But at the same time, what was happening when we were making jokes about it, right?
Yeah, there's just so much. And I know that, as I understand it, there was a big push prior to get Jeff kicked out. Like Jeff is a guy who everybody apparently in this community loves to hate. Like he's popular as being unpopular. And I think, like, on one hand, I could go into the minutia of why the Froggate was even a thing, like why it was even allowed to be a thing by society. Because it didn't start in 2020, it really started in 2016. There's a whole bunch of things going on there, and it had nothing to do with board games. But the fact is if it wasn't a frog, it would have been something. They would have found something else to use against Jeff, against the gaming goat. And it's just one of those things where it's a war of attrition. Because on one hand, I say that, but like they wouldn't have had that ammunition if we wouldn't have given that inch. Not we collectively, but we as a society. Sure. Because the idea of the frog and the OK sign, which is what it was all about, is absurd on its face. As a matter of fact, it's a hoax. It's a hoax that the media just bought into. And that was the point of it. But society should have called that out on day one in 2016, instead of allowing this fringe of, I'm not a clinical psychologist, okay? So I'm only using this term purely hyperbolically, but lunatics to run with this and legitimize it into what it is now, which is like a categorized hate symbol, which it's not. It's a hoax.
Right. And when you look at the power dynamic involved in some of the leading structures in tabletop alone, you realize that it harkens back to George Carlin's phrase that it's a club and you ain't in it.
Yeah, it's a big club and you ain't in it. Yep.
And as much as that's pretty strange to a guy like me who's spent most of his life being pretty popular, whether it's friend circles with the ladies, whatever, it was really funny walking into a lot of these environments, whether it was Gamma or any of these other organizations holding events, and seeing people who normally would be disregarded forming strong communities. And, that's a great thing. Honestly, that's always been looked at as a great thing for tabletop for a lot of years prior to the 2016 mark you just mentioned, where, nerds are starting to have a voice. Geek culture is in the mainstream. People are doing well with and around these things. And at some point, the weight shifted towards ideologies that weren't necessarily representative of the majority of the people, but a certain minority. And I know Will has his thoughts on what that minority might sound and look like, but there were moments in the history of tabletop industry that I've had to look back on, of course, with hindsight and think about as pivotal moments in these changes. One of which was I attended Gamma 2020, which was exactly the minutes leading up to COVID outbreak and the entire world shut down. I'm talking, recounting the days, day 1, day 2 to day 4, when the place was getting shut down, and all of a sudden we were being told that we have to get on an airplane, or we're not getting on an airplane, for any amount of time. We're all leaving this convention. But, leading up to that, obviously things were getting weirder and weirder by the day. But the moment you walked into this convention that they're hosting, the biggest event in tabletop industry, you're bombarded with pride flags and stuff. Now, here's me coming from a guy that's very into and open to everything related to LGBT plus, etc. But, going to pride parades, everything else in my life, but being bombarded with these images and these label badges that you're being handed, given, assigned, whether it was, gay or gamer or ally, etc. And if you don't take the damn thing, you look like a weirdo or you're an outcast. And that was the weirdest moment for me, to have to realize what was happening as a social trend in an environment that didn't necessarily warrant it.
The Seinfeld actually had a whole bit about that.
Absolutely, the ribbon.
Yeah,
The
Kramer
ribbon.
goes
You
for the
want
run,
the
and they're
ribbon?
like, "Yeah, the ribbon."
You want to run, but you don't want to wear the ribbon.
It's
What you don't know what to do with the ribbon?
this is the thing. It's like it's we have reached the point in society where the farce has become the reality, the thing that we laugh at. And that's really what comedy was supposed to be about. Is it's supposed to be that, like, a big part of comedy, like the biggest part of comedy, was supposed to be being able to laugh and mock the systems of power, the real systems of power. And you did that because you wanted to challenge it, because it was like the last stand of a warning against the downfall. Like, if you could not make fun of it, then it will take over. And I think that's why they even went after comedy. Like, and now comedians are not allowed to joke about things. And again, this is kind of like, this is why I kind of call it a cancer, because it spreads into every area. It's like people will listen to this conversation and be like, what does this have to do with board games? And it's like everything and nothing and everything. And if you keep ignoring it, if you keep insisting that I don't want this stuff to be I don't want to talk about this stuff, but if you keep insisting that it's irrelevant, it's going to keep taking over. And to your point, when you're saying that, like, there was this time where, like, the game community got very accepting of all of these walks of life, all of these, like, it was at one point, I do remember as a kid, at one point I would walk into game stores and it was a bunch of old white dudes, old white curmudgeon dudes, and they're all playing Catan. But if you sit down, like, they would allow you to sit down with them. They'd be like, yeah, you can learn how to play. Just sit over there and shut up. But leave me alone. But, like, they didn't shun me. They didn't kick me out of the door. They didn't kick me out or whatever. Like, the table was truly for everybody. It just happened that most people there were old fat white dudes. And now we've got a rainbow. We have a smorgasbord of people from all different walks of life. And that is great, because on one hand, because they find, like, people feel welcome. Well, these people felt welcome to come in and be like, yay, we can, like, we're not excluded. We're not shunned. And yes, but then not all of those people, but as you said, a club of those people, an exclusive club of those people, decided to take that and become the exclusionary group. And they started pushing out the people who didn't look like them or act like them or think like them. And that is the unfortunate environment that we live in, where it's not inclusive. Like, we kind of, like, swung across and went to the entire extreme of the other side.
Yeah, it isn't necessarily the affected people. It's the people championing the white knight complex people that are, I know Will and I have talked about this a few times in our conversations.
Many times. That
are, taking the civil rights movement and, assuming that they can do exactly what you needed to do during the, black,
Right. Well,
black people getting the rights.
they're appropriating it. They're stealing is what they're doing. Yeah. Like
But that's
up until like the late 80s, like the struggles of the Jews and the struggles of African Americans, they were a unique thing, right? They were unique experiences, right? And right about like 1990, it became Amy Tan with the Joy Luck Club. She created the template, right? For now you can stamp this out. Now you can mass produce it, right? So every group can piggyback on civil rights.
Every group
Right.
has every group has a Holocaust.
Every group has a grievance, and every group has a word they won't let you say. If they don't have one, they'll make one up. Literally, they'll make one up, a word that you can't say, and then they will go after you aggressively.
Now I know Eddie, you wanted to keep this positive, and so do I. And I think the flip side of this coin, the beautiful flip side of this coin, is that when you basically tell a market, I don't want 50% of you, what you've done is you've created an opportunity for another group to come in and go, hey, I want 50% of you, and I'll take the other 50% too.
The opportunity is huge.
That's really the glorious conclusion of all that, is that all of that, everything that we're talking about, Froggate ultimately created the Gaming Goat Network, which is truly a diverse and inclusive organization, because all we care about is making fun games. We don't care who you are. We don't care what walk of life you come from. We don't care what your personal beliefs are. We don't care. We're here to play games with each other, make games with each other, and become successful with each other. And I think that's going to be what's going to shoot us to the moon. But
we're very much against people who want to exclude.
This was a long ramble for myself and Eddie here. Will, welcome back. Will is back with us. You made it.
Yes, I'm here.
And this was the topic you wanted to talk about. So we've covered it. But what do you got?
What have I got? Well, I did the last thing I said. Did you? No, you weren't talking during that, so you definitely heard me. Oh no, I just want to say that I think it's pretty much almost over for those guys, the cancel guys.
We're coming out the other side.
Right?
The extremists are being highlighted.
Yeah,
we're coming out the other side. I mean, it's a revolutionary movement, and they don't have like, what is a Hispanic immigrant and all the people in the rainbow, like what do they? There's not a lot they have in common, really, right? They don't live in the same place. They don't go to the same clubs. They don't even speak the same. The only thing that keeps them together is having a common enemy, right? That's what keeps them together. Keep them focused on, keep them focused on the enemy, and then they won't fight with each other. And so, well, there aren't any enemies anymore, so they will provoke you. Like they will irritate you on purpose, like taking your favorite character and like gender swapping them, whatever. They'll do that to irritate you, right? And then when you express irritation, it's like, there you go, white supremacists. There you go, everybody swarm. Right? And that's what they're down to now. They just irritating to keep their group together. And now they've pissed off too many people, right?
Yeah,
they've alienated too many groups.
Yeah, people are starting to see through it, and to that point, we've talked. I've shared in our groups that I was recently canceled locally by a local game store, and tonight before I came here to the studio, they like this person went out of their way to kind of paint me as this person who doesn't is a sexist, and misogynist, and a homophobe, and a transphobe, and all these things, and nobody should like me or whatever. And so they were over popping their champagne that we got him out of this convention, which basically just meant that I wasn't going to sponsor the convention anymore. So okay, you win. I took the $1,000 I was going to give to this convention and give them a great time, and now I'm going to spend it in Mexico on booze and blow. You win. I just before I was here, I went to another local store that's actually much bigger, and has a much larger crowd. And I walked in, and everybody was like, "Dwight, you're back!" And like it was hugs all around. And I mean, like, there was people from all sides of the spectrum in this group. Sure. There was men, women, gays, trans, everybody. They're all there. and different people of color and whatever. They're all there, and we will all gather around and we all played games. We had a great time. And they asked, they're like, hey, so are you going to come to this other convention? And I was like, yes. Now that, especially now that I was canceled from this other one. And they were like, why were you canceled? And I was like, oh, because, so-and-so said that I was these things. And they were all like, they get it.
It's
like
the
all
only
these
response.
they get it. I think that I do believe we are coming on the out of the other side. And as long as we stick together, as long as we focus on making good games, we're gonna win. I think we're winning right now.
Yeah, we are winning, and it's a huge opportunity. It blows my mind how few people are willing to go and get that market, get that vacuum, move into that vacuum that's been left behind.
Eddie, did you have something? Did you have something to say?
Yeah, I was just coming back to what you said, trying to stay positive about this. And our network, it's not that we don't care what you are, or that you are something from birth or gender or orientation or anything like that. We do care. I care. I care a lot of people having all those things. And in fact, it's really nice to surround myself with a lot of people of those many different things for the experience I get from it. And it's not that we don't care. It's that we don't need to put it at the focal front of what we're trying to accomplish in our day's works and our evening's play. Our personalities can be on display, but they are not necessarily having to be worn as a badge. Like I said, going back to that point earlier, the badging is really just off-putting.
Yeah. You will be an ally. You must stand in solidarity with us. Like,
white silence is violence, guys.
Oh my God. Oh, why did you remind me?
That one killed me, and that one took over the board gaming theater for a hot minute back in in the summer of 2020. If you didn't have the black circle, and it was just exactly that moment, like you said, from Seinfeld, where I'm like, I was so ready to put that little black circle. I was so ready, and then I saw it just pop everywhere, and I was like, you know what? Maybe not.
No.
Maybe I just won't put the circle.
You became old Captain America. No, I don't think I will.
Well, people our age, like you see everybody doing the same thing, we're like, whoa. I do not want to be part of a hive mind.
Yeah.
So the gaming goat is the new metal, everybody. And
yes.
So if you guys, so again, if you're watching this, if you're still watching this, thank you. My God. We look forward to having you guys tune in as we dive deeper into our games, new games, the game, what's going on in this game, in this wonderful, wild, weird gaming space. If you have a game idea, please don't spam us, but join the conversation, and we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your ideas. If you want to learn about this industry, you want to find out like what goes on behind the scenes, again, come and join in. We're going to start streaming these episodes regularly. We'll
every week.
We're gonna have a page, right? We'll have a page.
Oh yes, we're gonna have a page.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, by the time you're watching this, there's probably a page, link in the description. Join it, join the conversation, get on board, because we are taking over, and we want you.
Should we mention some of the things that we're planning on doing?
Yes.
Sure, go. Yeah, why not?
Like conventions. Eddie had a whole raft of stuff he wanted to do.
Yeah, I got some conventions lined up in Illinois here. So I'll be having TGG games, the ones we already have, published and landed. We'll have some of that stuff. We'll have some of the demos for things forthcoming, including some of your games. Dwight, I'm going to want to see maybe a team out of you, or maybe I can get someone more local to represent your brand.
Yeah, so I will always go to an event that wants to have me. And generally I'll bring a squad. We deck out in cowboy gear. I'm sure you've seen. I also like to hire local talent. I do believe that looks sell. So I generally pull in some pretty models to be the Bandero blondes, because everybody loves the Bandero blondes. So, but before the show, like it's not just a gimmick. Before the conventions, I always train them in how to play the game and demo the game, so they become subject matter experts. It's really kind of cool. So yeah, I would love to bring a posse up there to spice up whatever you got going on. Let's talk.
Sounds great.
Yeah. So what about other conventions? You had some? Is that what you were talking about, William? Those conventions?
There was the game Goat Stock, right? And then the rating system. Are these secret? Should I not be bringing these
I
up?
wouldn't say that they're necessarily secrets. There's a lot of stuff that I've put out into the ether. You know, we've got some friends in the industry, and you know, I guess I can name drop. I've got some people that I really appreciate, and I want to give some credit out to the Nexus, Board Game Nexus.
Oh yeah,
We're bringing a new alternative. This is Anthony and Francis LaBarbera, who have also seen their share of battle, as you know, we have. But they've got the Board Game Nexus, which is a new, you know, we'll say competitor or a rival website for putting your board game collection together. They're going to be doing some trading opportunities, I believe. That thing is expanding constantly, and we've discussed doing, you know, a rating system for board games. Now, that's definitely down the pipes. You know, we're going to get there, I think.
There's a lot of big things. Yes, I think there's always okay. So Will, the way that I operate is I never go into anything if I don't have a you know, a short term and then a long term plan, right? And so like with High Noon, I have a 10-year plan, and it's funny because a lot of people come in now and they're like, oh, you should do this and you should do that, and I'm like, yeah, that's part of the 10-year plan there. I don't generally dive into all that right away because it can overwhelm people. But it's good to note to those of you watching that this is not this little stream of ours, this humble stream of ours, is not where this ends. We have big plans, and there's and they're already in the works. So plans. They're big. They're going to be plans. They're going to be big
plans.
Big plans. And they're going to be exciting. And again, it's all because all of this was made possible by a big club that decided not to let you in. We're going to make an even bigger club because we're letting.
That's right. That's right.
Guys,
we're going to start our own casino with blackjack and hookers.
I am going to call it, though. I think we've reached the point of diminishing returns in this very first episode, but I think it's been a great first episode. I've enjoyed this conversation with you guys. I look forward to more. Will you guys stick around to say our proper goodbyes?
Yes.
All right, great. Let's do this, though. Eddie, where can people find you know, the most relevant stuff for you?
So if they're looking to purchase games in person, they might see one of 17 Gaming Goat store locations across the country. They might be able to go to tgg-games.com to purchase games if they don't have a store around them. After that, they might be wanting to watch this channel more often to hear more of this wonderful news we're giving them.
Yeah.
Will, before the commies get you one more time, where can people find you?
They got
incelriot.com is the main page, and that's all there is. There's a Facebook page also, if you can find it.
Yeah, if you can.
It's usually shadow banned. So good luck.
But it's Incel Riot on Facebook, right? Incel Riot. I'm going to do a karaoke changing the words to Incel Riot. It's gonna be amazing.
Do it. Can I have the recording?
highnoongame.com is where you can buy all things High Noon. We do have a High Noon group. We also have a Discord server that you can join. And from there, we have a wonderful community of High Noon players. I put High Noon for free on Tabletopia. You can play my game for free on Tabletopia, and you can play expansions, test them before you buy them at the Discord server. Again, links are about. This has been the Gaming Goat Network, episode 1. Until next time.